Okay, back again, day 3 over down in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl week. Here with a special guest, Charlie Campbell from WalterFootball.com. Charlie, thanks for joining me. How about let's just start with maybe a few winners from both squads, the North and South, after the third day of practice here.
Well, I would definitely say Carson Wentz was a winner this morning. He really had an excellent practice, made a number of great throws in the red zone period, threw guys open, was accurate, had good ball placement, and really he progressed each day, and I think today was his best day. I would say overall, Braxton Miller continues to
run
really,
the show.
Yeah, he's been tremendous this week, and this morning was another good practice for him. I thought what he really showed today was not just the explosiveness, the speed, but also some strength and some grittiness to him. He was really mixing it up with the cornerbacks. He wasn't shy about getting physical at all. So I thought he really had an excellent day today. From the South team here this afternoon, I think one guy who stood out to me was LaRaven Clark from Texas Tech. He wasn't so great in the one-on-ones, but in the team scrimmage and the 2-minute drill, he really did well. Showed his athleticism to defend the edge rush and obvious passing situation, which is a huge part of the NFL now. And so I think that was a really nice session for him to cap this week.
He's a guy who popped off the weigh-in Monday morning, long, lanky, great wingspan, and you just didn't know what you were going to get from a guy like that. Going back to Wentz here, Carson, probably nobody had more pressure on him coming into the week than Carson Wentz, based off the position he plays and the school that he came from. Guys wanted to know, does he have the enough talent to play against some top-tier competition? Knowing what you know now, did he do enough to solidify himself as a top 10 pick and put himself in that category with a guy like Jared Goff?
I believe so. In speaking with teams and scouts, they feel that he's going to go in the top 10. And I do know that there's some in Cleveland that already like him a lot. He comes from a cold weather place. You see the arm, you see the ball placement, the accuracy. The Northern Iowa game, for example, he brings his team back. So there's a lot to like about him for NFL teams, and there's so many quarterback-needy teams.
Right.
I think even if Cleveland passed on him and he got past San Francisco, you could see St. Louis, Philadelphia, Houston, the Jets, somebody moving up to get him, because there's just so many teams that are options for Wentz.
In a quarterback league, if you don't have one, you're trying to get one at all times. The guy that's blocking for them, obviously left tackle, still a premier position. Guy like Noah Spence just jumped out at practice today. Certainly wasn't a surprise if you know anything about him coming in. Was there any other guys on the speed rushers that maybe popped off the practice film for you this week?
Well, yeah, I think if you look at the defensive line, there's a lot of talent there. I think Vernon Butler from Louisiana Tech had a really strong week. Adolphus Washington from Ohio State, he dominated the first day. I mean, he was tremendous on Tuesday, and he was good today and yesterday. Not as dominant as that first day, but there's a lot of talent on that defensive line. Carl Nassib had some good one-on-one sessions, so I think this draft is going to feature a lot of good defensive prospects.
You nailed it. Certainly the strength position coming in, and we didn't even touch on Sheldon Rankins from Louisville, who had a great practice yesterday and unfortunately had to bow out due to a medical concern here. Now the guy's blocking him. I'm looking at this offensive tackle class, and don't get me wrong, right tackle now just as important as the left tackle, but we still value and premier that left tackle position a little bit more. I'm having a hard time, besides maybe a guy like Jason Spriggs from Indiana, finding a guy who has the feet to play that left tackle position. Help me out. Is there anybody here that maybe solidified themselves as a guy you can draft and plug in at left tackle, or are we looking at a lot of talent but maybe at the right tackle position?
Yeah, I think that Spriggs and Clark are more of potential left tackles, but not right away. They aren't guys that are going to come in right away and be able to handle the typical right side edge rusher on a defense. So I think Clark and Spriggs both could develop into that, but they're going to need some time. And this draft isn't all that strong at the tackle position, so they could get pushed up out of need, but I do think that they're going to be guys that are developmental and they're not ready to take that on right away.
You know, this has been, becoming one of the best events for small school prospects to really make a name for themselves, because it's really the first time they get some national exposure and are in front of all 32 scouts, GMs, and coaches. And we hear Phil Savage say it all the time. It's basically just a giant job fair for these kids. Right. Last year was guys like Quentin Rollins and Ali Marpet. Today we saw receiver Paul McRoberts make some huge plays down the field and even a touchdown. One or two small school guys that just kind of impressed you enough to say these are not only draftable guys, they're going to make an impact at some stage in their NFL career?
Well, one guy that really leapt out to me was Northern Iowa cornerback DeAndre Hall. He is a physical corner. He will stick his head in the middle of the front seven and put a licking on a running back. He will hit hard. He has the kind of press man skills that is in vogue in the NFL. And in speaking with some teams, they really like him, and they felt that he has some kind of Richard Sherman dog in him, a guy that's not going to back down, and he's going to battle big receivers for 4 quarters. So he really stood out to me. I thought he had an excellent week.
No, absolutely. Long, lanky cornerbacks, certainly the in vogue thing right now in the NFL. Day 3 over, the meat and potatoes done. Walk through tomorrow, and then the big show on Saturday. Be sure to stay tuned to eDraft.com and Walter Football. For Charlie Campbell, I'm Luke Inman, signing out.